Hey guys, what's up? I'm Speo with the Voice of Reason, and I was just playing around and came up with this nice little Sync Growl Patch, and I thought I'd share it with you guys. It sounds something like this. Let's get to rebuilding it. First up, we'll chuck in a Thor and do the basic steps. So turn on the Portamento, set it to mono, and bring up the sustain on the amp envelope all the way. And we can also bring up the frequency on the filter all the way for now. Next up, we'll chuck in a wavetable oscillator for the first oscillator, set it to mixed waves 1 wavetable, and set the octave at 2 and the position at about 38. Then we'll chuck in yet another wavetable oscillator and set that one to a formant wavetable. That's the PPG27 formant wavetable. Bring up the position to about 74, and we'll bring down the octave to octave 0. We'll bring up the semi to 4, and we'll bring down the fine tune to -25. So we'll really detune it. Also, don't forget to activate the second oscillator right here. Okay, this sounds really bad, but we'll fix it using the sync button. What the sync button does, it resets the wave of the second oscillator every time the first oscillator completes a wavelength. And this way the second oscillator is forced to be in harmony with the first one. And now it should sound a lot nicer. Yep. What we can do now is we can select the rotary 1 on the Thor in the modulation matrix. It's under the modifiers tab. And route it with an amount of 75 to the oscillator 2 pitch. This way we get a nice little kind of pitch sweep going. We can also nudge the balance in the mixer a little bit towards the second oscillator, so we get more of the pitch sweep and less of the fixed oscillator. So we'll set the mixer balance at about 92. Nice. Yeah, then we can also select the rotary 1 once again and route it with an amount of 100 to the filter 1 frequency. And now don't forget to bring down the frequency to about 100 Hz. And we can also bring down the envelope and velocity amounts all the way. And while we're here, we can also give it some resonance, like 44. Now the filter opens up simultaneously with the pitch sweep of the second oscillator, which is a nice sound. While we're in the Thor, we can also activate the chorus, but bring down the dry wet a little bit to about 20. That just gives it some more kind of width and a broader feel. Okay, next up we'll run this whole thing through a Scream 4 distortion unit. We'll set it to tape mode, bring up the damage to about 125, so a lot of damage. And then we'll bring up the speed to about 104, and we can also bring up the compression a bit to about 38. Now also turn on the body, bring down the resonance just a tad to about 95, and we'll set it to type D. And then we bring down the scale and the auto all the way, because we'll now modify the scale using the rotary 1 on the Thor. So once again, we'll select the rotary 1 in the modulation matrix of the Thor and route it with an amount of 100 to the CV output 1. Now we'll select that one on the back of the rack and route it into the scale CV input on the Scream 4. And we're clipping like hell. So bring down the master a bit. And now a lot of the sound is already here. We can also activate the cut and bring up the highs a bit, like to about 18. Yep. Next up, we'll chuck in an equalizer just for the standard removing of ringers. I think one is at 300 Hz. Bring up the rotary a bit so you can hear it better. Yeah, there's definitely one there. Again, so bring up the gain and the Q all the way, and you can then sweep the frequencies, and if you find a ringer, just kill it by bringing the gain all the way down. Sounds a lot cleaner. And then we'll use the second parameter to do the same. Yeah, there's one. At 976 Hz, there's another ringer we can also kill. But I think we're fine now. Next up, we'll just chuck in a reverb to round things off. So create that one, bring it to the room algorithm, and then switch to the EQ tab and bring down the low gain all the way and set the frequency at about 600 Hz. and enable the EQ up here. And then we can also bring down the decay a bit, bring up the damp, and bring down the dry wet to about 20. Just gives it some room. And there you go. That's your basic Sync Growl Patch. If I just map this knob to my MPD knob, you can kill a few hours on a Sunday by just twisting that knob and yeah, listening to the Sync Growl. Okay, I hope this tutorial was useful. If it was, drop a like, that would be much appreciated. My name's been Speo, this was The Voice of Reason. Have a good one of whatever you're having. Oh yeah, and by the way, if you have some suggestions for future tutorials, just drop them in the comments.